Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the FIZ show. My name is Clarence Chongo. We're here at Ciela Resort, where it's been a fantastic day. It's been a conference for the PPDF. That's the Public-Private Dialogue Forum. And it's a day we've been calling the Private Sector Day. I'm sitting here with Mr. Andrew Chipwende, who is the Director General for PPDF. Mr. Chipwende, welcome to the FIZ show.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about PPDF, how it started, what it's about, and what it's trying to achieve.
Well, the PPDF was set up in April last year by the President as an initiative to bring back private sector engagement with the public sector, to try and rebuild trust between the two sides.
Indeed.
The two sides stop seeing each other as two sides, but see each other as one when it comes to formulating policies, regulations, and rules that affect business. I think we came out of a period where government would make all the rules with little consultation with private sector, and at times these rules could be harmful or delay implementation of certain private sector business initiatives, which ultimately hinders investment and affects job creation. So one of the objectives of the setting up this dialogue forum was to try and bring back that trust, bring back the ability of private sector to engage with government on reforms, not just new laws, but even reviewing existing laws, existing regulations, where they are missing, what else can be done in terms of improving the investment climate, with the ultimate objective of increasing investment, supporting business growth, as well as creating jobs. So that is the whole essence of the PPDF. Now, the PPDF is not an institution.
Okay.
It is just a platform. Okay. It's not an agency.
Okay.
It's just a platform where the two sides come and meet, like over a round table. But it's supposed to be done, that dialogue is supposed to be done in a structured way, not just shouting out problems, but properly researched problems, bottlenecks, challenges, where supported by evidence and data to support a particular case. The private sector is encouraged to come and meet the public sector, engage the public sector, because the public sector's doors are open to listen. But you must go with prepared documentation, prepared material that will enable the public sector to listen and make the changes that the private sector may be proposing. That is the whole essence of the PPDF.
Absolutely. No, thank you very much for that. So, as you said, it's an initiative that the President has championed and started April last year, I believe, right? So since April last year to now, what's the story been like? What are some of the successes that you can share in what the PPDF has managed to accomplish?
Well, obviously it's still a new process, relatively new process. Again, let's be careful. Let's be careful not to say it's totally new, because dialogue with the private sector and the public sector has been happening over the years. I think if you go back to the late 2000s, in fact, the President himself used to chair one of the, in fact, the Zambia Business Forum at the time under late President Mwanawasa, where there was an engagement between the public sector and private sector on reforms. Over 500 licenses were identified. A lot of institutions that were involved in business processes were identified for reform, and that process at that time even gave way to the birth of the Zambia Development Agency, gave way to the birth of the Citizens Economic Empowerment. So that is what dialogue can do. So it's not new, but if you look at the particular initiative by the President and you compare with the dialogue processes that were run earlier, those went on for a long time. This one has gone on for, well, now we're getting, April was 1 year, we're getting into 18 months.
18 months, yeah.
If you look at the issues that have come from the private sector, I think you heard the Secretary to Cabinet announce that a total of about 86 issues came through from the 7 working groups, which are agriculture, mining, tourism, ICT, media and digitization, financial services, and energy. So about 7 working groups. 86 issues were presented, and out of those 86, I think agreement was reached on 63.
Wow.
So, but again, you can say, well, no, dialogue is a continuous process. It doesn't mean that just because you've agreed 63 issues out of 86, there's still the 23. But more importantly, there are new issues that should be coming up on a continuous basis.
So
the financial services is dynamic. I think one minister used to say that reform is a continuous process. You don't reform and sit down. You have to continuously reform. You have to continuously benchmark yourselves against the best countries, against the best sectors. You have to continuously engage the private sector. How is your business doing? How can we improve your growth rate? How can we improve the pace at which you are actualizing your new investments and so on? It has to be continuous because all countries are moving around the world. Absolutely. You can't just do it once and stop. So yes, 63 items achieved, 23 still going through the process. The important thing is, can we get new issues in?
Absolutely.
And I think you had some examples of some of the outcomes of the dialogue in energy, for example. And again, it goes back to what we're saying. The government, through the ERB, Ministry of Energy, recently introduced a new statutory instrument, just as an example, which has exempted small mini grids of about 250 kilowatts and below from going through the licensing process of ERB, which can be rigorous for a small entity. Today the president said 250 kilowatts, I'm not happy with that. Can we exempt up to 1 megawatt so that we get bigger projects running? Again, it's an example. On the one hand, the working group has met, they've agreed, the policy side says, no, we can do more. So we can't say you've achieved something. Those are not achievements. You've reached agreement, but there's more to be done. You can never be satisfied that, yes, we've concluded. It has to be continuous. In the budget itself for 2024, the Minister of Finance has incorporated over 24 proposals from the private sector in terms of duty, in terms of tax. I think you saw the example that was given where previously the developers of power stations in energy were only allowed to claim back VAT for 4 years. They said, can we claim for 10 years? Because these projects take a long time to develop. Minister of Finance said, okay, we'll give you up to 7. Again, compromise.
Yeah, of course.
So you can't achieve everything, and not everything can be satisfactory. In tourism, I think you heard the tourism chairman mention that they were granted exemption for visas for tourists coming from some selected countries. And already that has had something like a 50% increase in tourist arrivals, including domestic tourists. Today, if you talk to ProFlight, you can't simply book a ticket to Livingstone a day you're traveling. You have to book in advance because
of the demands. Yeah, of
people
course.
are traveling, a lot more arrivals, but a lot more can be done. You heard the tourism chairman saying Zambia is still a high-cost destination in terms of tourism. How can we address that? How can we improve the number of flights? How can we improve the efficiencies in the licensing systems? So there's a lot to be done. So in as much as, yes, agreement has been reached on issues, there are still more issues coming through. The public sector is also going to be proactive in doing constraint analysis, which can inform reforms, which can inform changes, and engage the private sector on those proposed reforms with a view of implementing and improving sector competitiveness to achieve some of these goals which the government has set, to achieve some of the objectives that the various private sector businesses have. So this is the type of work that will be happening. A lot has been done, a lot more can be done.
Absolutely. Wow. Thank you very much for that, Mr. Andrew Chipwende. It's been a pleasure having you here talking to us on the FIZ Show.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. This is the FIZ Show. My name is Clarence Chongo. For financial insight, get to know.